Welcome to one of the most anticipated moments on this channel. Now, I created a poll some weeks back and I asked you guys to select between the Hulu clone and the YouTube UI clone. Now, I honestly thought you guys would pick the Hulu clone because it's more complex than the YouTube clone, but notwithstanding, they are both great UI. So we're going to be designing the YouTube clone for this tutorial. I'm going to show you the Hulu clone. So if you'd like me to work on a tutorial for the Hulu clone, I'm going to have the Hulu clone on the screen right now. So yeah, you can see the Hulu clone. Yeah, you can see it's more complex than the YouTube, which I'll have on the screen right now also. So we're basically going to be building the YouTube clone, and this is going to be more of CSS flexbox and CSS grid system. So if you'd like to learn more about CSS and CSS flexbox, the course is currently on sale for $10, which is equivalent to 5,000 naira. So you can get the course. The link is going to be in the description below for you to grab the course. Now let's jump right into the YouTube clone, the build. So here is the YouTube build, and this is what we're going to be working on. Here we built this using HTML and CSS and built everything from scratch. Now you can see this looks exactly like YouTube. We have the YouTube logo right here. We have the notification bell, the live button, the channel icon, in this section over here for special notes or something. And what you will need for this tutorial, basically you just need the images, and if you would like to get the source code, the link to my GitHub repository is going to be in the description for you. So here are the images you'll be needing, basically some SVG images and the YouTube logo. And for this image right here, the thumbnail, we're going to be sourcing the image from online. Okay, so you don't actually need to download these images. So also the giveaway is still on, so if you'd like to get involved in the giveaway, make sure you watch the previous video and also give this video a big thumbs up. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Welcome back to the video, guys. Now we're going to start off by creating the layout of YouTube. So what I just did here was that I got the link, the font we're going to be using for this tutorial is Roboto font. Okay, so you can get this from Google Fonts. So head over to Google Fonts and type in Roboto and get the link. So I got the link and pasted it right here, and I also linked up our CSS. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a header tag, and we're going to give this header tag a class of header. And in this header, we're going to have a href, and basically this is going to be for the logo, so we don't want this to go anywhere. We're going to get the image from our images folder, and this is going to be logo.png. And for the alt, in case the image hasn't loaded yet, so this is going to say YouTube logo. And we're also going to give this a class of YouTube logo. So that being said, the next thing we're going to do is to create a form for the search area. So this is not going to have any action, but we're going to give this a class. I'm going to give this a class of search bar, and in this search bar we're going to have an input tag for the search button, for the search input. So for the input type, it's going to be type of search, and we're going to give this a class of search input, and this is going to have a placeholder of search and also an area label of search. So you can save this. So next thing we're going to do is to create a button, and in this button we're going to give this a type of submit, and also going to give this a class of search btn. Now in this button we're going to have the magnifying image. So let's get the image from our images folder, say img, and the name of the image should be magnify.svg. okay, so you can get this image from the GitHub repository. Is going to be linked in the description for you to download. So now you can save this and open with live server to see what we've done. So right here you can see the YouTube logo, the search input, and the search button. Okay, so let's jump back to our VS Code and continue. So now in our VS Code, and the next thing we're going to do is to create a div for the menu icons. So let's call this div and give it a class of menu icons, and we're going to have a href right here, and this isn't going to be going anywhere, it's just going to be for the images. So img, and this is going to be sourced from our images folder, and the name of the image is video plus svg. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it 2 times. So the next image we're going to be using is the app.svg, and this should be for the notification bell, so bell.svg. So for the alt, you can say upload video, and this is going to be apps, and lastly this is going to be notification. Okay, so now we're going to source an image from Unsplash. So say href, and this isn't going to be going anywhere, so we're going to source the image like I said, and this is going to have a class. First of all, it's going to have a class of menu channel icon, and now we're going to source the image from Unsplash. So say http unsplash.it/36x36 gravity equals center. So save this. So now we can see the YouTube logo, the search input, the search button, and the icons right here. So this is the image we sourced from Unsplash, and we're going to be using CSS flexbox to align these items properly. So let's jump right into our CSS and get this over with. So we're in our CSS, and the first thing we want to do is to enable box sizing. So we're going to use the global selector, and we're going to have a before and after pseudo element. And we're going to add a box sizing of border box, and we used the fonts family of Roboto, which we sourced from Google Fonts, so you can get that. So we're going to be using Roboto, and you can have your Arial in case the font Roboto isn't working. You can have this. So save. So now the next thing we want to do is to get rid of the margin. So select the body and set the margin to 0. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to grab the header class. So make sure you copy this properly. So copy and go back to your CSS, scroll down right here and paste. Okay, so we're going to set this to display flex, and we're going to justify content space between. We're also going to align the items to the center and add a padding of 1 rem. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to select the YouTube logo. So head over to your HTML and we're going to copy this class right here. So copy this and paste right here. And we're just going to set the height of this to 24, or let's say 20 pixels. So the next thing we're going to work on is the search bar. So get the search bar, okay, this class right here. So copy this and paste right here. Remember, this is a class, so it's going to have a dot in front of it. So we're going to set this to display flex. Now if you don't understand flexbox properly, the good thing is that I've reduced the price of my course, so you can check the link in the description. So you head over to my website and get the course for just $10. Now the course has been increased and you'll be getting some PDFs which I just bought, and you'll be getting those for free alongside the tutorial, and you can schedule live classes. So let's head over to the code and get this over with. So now we set this display to flex, and now we're going to use flex grow and set this to 1, and we're also going to add some margin. So say 0, 2 rem, 0 and 4 rem. So you can save this and head over to your browser to see what we've done. Okay, so you can see we've reduced the size of the logo, and now we're working on this search bar rather. So now the next thing we're going to do is to work on the search input. So head over here and grab the class of search input and paste right here. So the first thing we're going to do is to set the width to 100%, and the font size should be inherit. I'm going to add a padding of 0.4 rem, and also going to add a border to this, 1 pixel solid white. Okay, so I'm going to add a border top radius, that's of white radius. Okay, and I'm going to set this to 0, and we're also going to do for the bottom and set that to 0 also. Set this to 0. Okay, so now the next one we're going to work on is the search button. So grab this class, the search btn, okay, and scroll down and paste right here. Okay, so we're going to set this to display flex, and we're going to align items to the center. So this should be align items, not align self. So align items center, and I'm going to set the padding of this to 0 top and bottom, 1.25 rem left and right. I'm going to add a border, 1 pixel solid. I'm going for like a light gray. Also this should be like a light gray also, not white. So we're going to change this to ash 777. Okay, so also we're going to set the background color going to set the background color of this to F8, F8, F8. That's kind of like a white smoke. And next thing we're going to do is to get rid of the border left. So say border left and set this to 0. And also instead of 0, let's set this to none. So now the next thing we're going to do is to set the border top left radius to 0 and border bottom, just like what we did here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it right here. Also, we're going to add a pointer effect to this, so set the cursor to pointer. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to work on is the hover effect. So let's copy this. So copy this and paste right here. I'm going to add hover effect. So basically, when we hover on this, we want the background color to change. We're not going to be adding a transition to this because YouTube didn't add any transition to this, and we're trying to achieve the best possible clone. So now the next thing we're going to work on is the menu icons. So scroll down here and copy the class. So copy this class and we're going to paste right here. So set this to display grid. So also, if you would like to learn how to use CSS grid, it's also in the course. So this is kind of an advantage for you, more like a win-win for you. So I advise you get the course while the price is low. Okay, so we're going to use the grid template columns, and we're going to repeat this 4 times, and we're going to set this to auto. And we're also going to align items to the center and give this a gap of 1.5 rem. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to select is this menu channel icon. So we'll add a border radius to this, and we're going to make this 50%. The thing I'm going to do is to give this a width of 36 pixels and a height of 36 pixels also, and set the background color to #AAA. So save this and head over to your browser and refresh, and you should have something neat like this. Okay, so this is a really nice start to this project. So head over to your HTML and continue from here. So scroll down. So the next thing we're going to work on is the category section, kind of like what we have right here. So this is basically what we're going to be working on. Okay, so we're going to be working on this category section. So head over to your HTML, and we're basically going to create a div with a class of category. Let's say categories, because it's going to be holding all the categories. So next thing we're going to do is to create a section, and we're going to give this section a class of, let's say, YouTube category section. Okay, so after that, I'm going to create some buttons, and we're going to give this button a class of category. So I save this. I think there's a shortcut for creating this, so let's try it out. So say button dot category, and we're going to multiply this by 8. Okay, so yeah, that's the shortcut for creating multiple elements. So we're just going to align this properly. Okay, so when this is done, you save this, and we're just going to call this, we're just going to add some text to this. So this is going to say all, and we're going to make this all button. We're going to make it the default button. So we're going to add an active class which we would work on in the CSS later on. So the next thing we're going to do is to say, let's call this category 1, and this is going to be an uppercase, and there's going to be a space right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to copy this text, and we're going to paste it in the other buttons. So paste and paste, 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 and paste. So we're just going to number this correctly. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to create another button just to make it 9. So paste this and set this to category 9. So now that this has been done, just head over to your CSS and we're going to work on this. So first thing we're going to do is to grab the categories class. So copy this class and paste right here. Okay, so now we're going to add some padding to this. So say 1 rem, and that's for the top and bottom, and for the left and right 2 rem. So next thing we're going to do is to add a border top, and this is going to be 1 pixel solid light gray, so that should be #999. And we're also going to set the border bottom. So say border bottom, and we're also going to set this to 1 pixel solid light gray. Save this. And next thing we're going to work on is the category section, the YouTube category section. So copy this class, and we're going to paste this right here. So we're going to set this to flex. We're going to use flexbox for this. So set this to display of flex, and we want the overflow to be hidden. So I'm not just going to set this to hidden yet. So let's see what we have. Okay, so you can see what we have right here. So now I'm going to set the overflow to be hidden, because when we increase the size of the button, the buttons are going to be so big and they're going to be flowing on the x-axis. So we're going to have like a cursor, we're going to have like a scroll effect right here, or horizontal scroll effect, and basically want to cancel that. So we're going to set the overflow to be hidden. So set this to be hidden. So now the next thing we're going to grab is the category itself. So copy this category class, and that's what we're going to work on. So you paste this right here, and we're going to set the margin right. So 1 rem, and we're going to set the word wrap to none. Also the white space, I'm going to set this to none, no wrap. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to add a border to this. So set the border to 1 pixel solid CCC, kind of like a dark gray, or let's say gray itself. And I'm going to add a border radius to this. Let's add a border radius of 900 pixels. 900 pixels. Sorry for the mistake. Okay, so now we're going to add a background color to this. and we're going to set this to as EZ, as E7. That's also like a white smoke. So next thing we're going to do is to add some padding of 0.5 rem top and bottom and 1 rem left and right. Okay, so I'm going to set the font size to inherit, and we're going to add a pointer effect. So set the cursor to pointer, and we're also going to add a transition to this, and we want to add an hover effect to this, and we want this to affect only the background color. So we're going to set the transition to the background color, and we want this to occur for 150 milliseconds. Okay, so now let's add the hover effect to this. So say category and set the hover effect, and just want the background color to change on hover, so it changes to #DDD. Okay, so head over to your browser and you can see what we have right here. You can see the transition, here. Okay, so when hover on this, you can see the background color changes a bit to like a darker version of gray compared to this light gray. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to select this active class which I told you about. So copy this, and we're going to select the category and paste the active class. So right here, what we just want to do is to make that active class like a dark version. So we want the background color to be darker, and yeah, so that's going to set it to the default class, the default category. So set the background color to #606060. So that's like gray. So that's like dark gray, or let's call it gray, and the color should be white. That's the text color, and the background, the border color rather, should be #EEE. So head over to your browser and you can see, the default category. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to select, let's use the pseudo element to get rid of the margin right. Okay, so go over here and say category, and we'll select the last child using the pseudo element, and we're going to set the margin right to 0. Okay, so now it's looking nice. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to work on is the video section itself. So I know you must be wondering what about the side menu, like the side nav bar over here. So I figured out you could do that yourself, so that shouldn't be an issue for you. But if you would like me to make a tutorial on how to make a sidebar or a side menu, whatever you call it, okay, so just let me know in the comment section. So head over to your HTML. I'm going to work on the video section now. Okay, so go over here. I'm going to create a div with a class of YouTube videos, and over here we're going to have a section with a class of YouTube video section. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to work on is a thumbnail. So let's use the article tag, and I'm going to give this article tag a class of, let's say, YouTube video container. Okay, so now we're going to get the image from Unsplash again. So we're going to use the anchor tag, and we're going to set the href to hash because we don't really want this to go anywhere. So let's give this a class of thumbnail, and the data duration should be 1224. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is source the image itself. So we're going to say http unsplash.it, and the width should be 250 and the height should be 250 pixels, or no, 150 rather. Okay, so should be gravity. Gravity equals center. So save this and let's see what we have. Okay, so you can see the image we just sourced right now. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to create the video description, which you usually have in YouTube. Okay, so say div video, let's say div YouTube video. Since we started with YouTube video bottom section, so that one was the top section and this is the bottom section. So we're going to have an anchor tag and we don't want this to go anywhere, so we're going to set this to hash. And also we're going to have the image. Okay, let's give this image a class of thumbnail image, or thumbnail img, whatever suits you. Okay, so right here we're going to have the channel icon. No. Okay, I'm going to close this, and this is going to be the channel. Set the class to channel icon. Okay, so now we're going to source the image from Unsplash again. So this should be http unsplash.it 36 by 36, gravity equals center. So now the next thing we're going to do is to create a div where we're going to have the name of the YouTube channel, the text, and the views and duration and all those things. So let's create a div right here, and we're going to give this a class of YouTube video details. So first of all, we're going to have an anchor tag right here, and this is not going to go anywhere. We're going to give this a class of video title, and right here you can have a video title. You can set this to anything you want, so I'm just going to write video title. Video title. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to also create an anchor tag for the channel name. So we're going to give this a class of video channel name, and this is going to say channel name. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to set the views and the dots, basically everything under YouTube video. So we're going to create a class and we're going to say video metadata, and we're going to have a span right here, and this is going to say 12k views, and we're going to have another span, and this is going to say 1 week ago. No, I think it's in lowercase, so 1 week ago. So yeah, fine, like this. Okay, so now you can see the thumbnail, the channel image, and the links right here. So now let's check the YouTube itself. So over here you can see what we're going for. So you can see this dot right here, so I'm just going to try to select this. So we're going to select it carefully. Whoops. So I'm going to go back and try to select the dots. I think I'm just going to copy from the project I already made. So I'm just going to make this appear right here, and this is the finished product. So I'm just going to copy this dot because we need this. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it in our HTML. So Ctrl C. This is going to be available for you. I'm going to host this so in case you need to grab this certain dot. Okay, so I've copied it and I'm going to paste it in my HTML. So head over to your HTML and I'm going to scroll right here and paste this, and we can close this because we don't need it for now. Okay, so now you can see the dot and it's looking nice. So now let's style. Yeah, without further ado, let's style this. Okay, so head over to your CSS. So now we're going to grab the YouTube video section. So we're going to grab this class. So copy this class here and paste right here. Yeah, paste it right here. What just happened? Oh, okay. So make sure you copy properly and paste right here. Okay, so now we're going to use grid for this. So I'm going to be using CSS grid. So set this to display grid, and we're going to set the grid template columns to repeat, autofill, and we're going to use the min max 250 pixels, comma 1 fr. Okay, so if you don't know what this means, it's you can get my course and you'll learn everything about CSS flexbox and CSS grid and so much more. So I advise you grab the course while this sale is on, while the discount is still on. So apply the gap here. We're going to set this gap to 3 rem and 1 rem. So now next thing we're going to do is to add some padding. I'm going to add some padding to this. So set this to 3 rem top and bottom, 0 left and right, and we're going to add the margin to this 0, 1.5 rem. Okay, so now the last thing I'm going to do is to add a border top. So say border top, and this is going to be 4 pixels solid ccc. Okay, So now we want to use the pseudo element to get rid of the border top for the first child. So we're going to use a pseudo element for that. So set the border top to 0. So the next thing we're going to grab is the YouTube video container. So copy this class and paste right here. Okay, so we're going to set this to display a flex, and the flex direction should be colon. Now next thing we're going to grab is the thumbnail. So copy this and scroll down and paste right here. So we're going to set the position of this to relative, and the display, give this a display of flex. So now we're going to use the pseudo element right here. So we're going to set the before property to this, and we're going to set the content. It's like my keyboard is messing with me today. Sorry for the delay for my slow typing. Okay, so sorry, I do apologize for that. My keyboard has been messing with me today. I think I should get a mechanical keyboard. So set the position of this to absolute, and the background color, so background color RGBA 0,0,0,0,0.85, and I'm going to set the color of this to white, and I'm going to set the right of 5 pixels and a bottom of 5 pixels, and let's add some padding to this, 0.1 rem, and sorry I typed and 0.3 em, so this should be em. Okay, so save this. So we're also going to add some border to this, border radius of let's say 0.3 em, and the font size should be 0.9 rem. So save this. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to grab is the image itself, which is the thumbnail image. So you have it right here, the class thumbnail img. So copy this and paste it in your CSS. So set the width of this to 100%. The height should be 100% also, and the minimum width, the main width should be 250 pixels, and it should have a mean height of 150 pixels, and the background color of this should be #AAA. Okay, so we can go back to the browser, refresh, and see what we've done. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to grab is the button. So we should have a button right here. Yeah, I meant, sorry, bottom, not the button, sorry, bottom. So now we want to grab the YouTube video button section. Okay, so we're going to set this to display flex, I'm going to line items, flex start, and I'm going to set the margin top to 1 rem. Save this. So now next thing we're going to do is to work on the channel icon. So yeah, let's work on the channel icon. So copy this class here, copy the class and paste right here, and we're going to set the margin right to 0.7, let's say 0.75 rem, and we're going to give this a border radius of 50%, so it's going to form a perfect circle. They should have a width of 36 pixels, and also the height should be equivalent to the width, so that will be 36 pixels. And next thing I'm going to do is to add a background color to this, and it's going to be AAA. Yes, you guessed it right. So now the next one I'm going to grab is the video details, the YouTube video details. So copy this and paste right here. I'm going to set this to display flex, and the flex direction should be column. So save this. So now the next thing I'm going to grab is let's grab the video title. So copy and paste right here. So set the font size. Set the font size to guess what the font size is. You're going to make it 1.1 rem, and the font width should be bold, and add the margin bottom, margin bottom. I told you my keyboard is messing with me. Margin, I can't even type margin properly. Margin bottom. Comments, let me know in the comment section if this has ever happened to you. I guess it's because I've not been on my laptop for a while. So set the text decoration to none to get rid of those lines, and the color, the text color should be black. So now the next thing I'm going to grab is the channel name. So copy this and we're going to paste right here. Set the margin bottom of this to 0.1 rem, and the text decoration, let's get rid of any text decoration, and we're also going to add transition to this, and we want the color to change on hover, and this should have a duration of 150 millisecond. So channel name, hover, and we said we want the color to change, that way the text color, and this should be #111. So save this. Okay, so let's see what we've done. Okay, so now you can see what we have here, still on work in progress. So now head over to your CSS, and now the next thing we're going to do is to add some color to the channel name and the video metadata. Okay, so copy this because we already have the video channel name. So say video channel name, and we also want to select the video metadata, and we want to set the color of this to ash 555. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is to grab the section title. That's the video section title. Or let's see what we have first. Okay, so we haven't saved our CSS, so make sure you always save your CSS and go back here, and you can see what we have here. You can see the nice over effect right here. So let's check with the original project. So okay, so we should be having something like this. So let's try to fix it and let's check for any error. Okay, so I think I've seen the error. Yeah, I've seen the error. So we're going to cut this and we're going to put this in the YouTube video details. So we're going to paste this right here. No, Ctrl Z. So cut this and paste right here, and we'll save this. I'm just going to make my work more presentable, and when we go back here, you should see we have something similar to the initial project, the original project. Okay, so yeah, that's looking nice. So now what we're just going to do is to copy and paste. We're just going to duplicate this a couple of times and we should have something tangible. So just go over here. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, and duplicate this 5 times. So let me check, 1 2 3 4 5. So let's duplicate one more time. So I think we made a mistake. So I'm just going to paste this properly again. So I'm going to copy. Okay, so make sure you copy from the article, the article tag. Okay, copy the whole article tag and paste 5 times. So save this and head over to your browser. Okay, yeah. So now we have something really nice. So you can see what we have here. Okay, so I'm just going to do this properly. Don't know why I'm making so much errors today. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the article tag. So I made a mistake while copying it before, and I'm going to paste this 1 2 3 4 5 times. So that should be 6 in total, and yeah, so this is what we're going for. Yeah, so this is looking really nice. So now the next thing to do is just to duplicate this section. Yeah, I'm going to duplicate this section 2 times. So I'm going to copy this and paste once, and yeah, twice. So now I've duplicated it 3 times. So now we should have it looking like this. So this looks exactly like YouTube. Yeah, there's some modifications of which you can make yourself. So yeah, that should be a challenge for you. Try modifying it yourself. So now the next thing I'm going to do, let me just cross check. So now the next thing to do is to add this section. Okay, so whenever you open YouTube, you have a section for like special news or special topics or something. Yeah, so I'm just going to create this section here and add this close button and this text. So now I'm just going to minimize this. Yeah, I'm just going to minimize this. So I'm going to close this right here and also close this. Okay, so we're going to work on the second section. Alright, in the second section we're going to create a little space for the special section which I told you about. So you can, we're going to create a special section there. Okay, so go over here. I'm going to have a h2. Okay, and we're going to give this a class of let's say YouTube video section title, and this right here is going to say special section. So you can make this whatever you want. You can make a special section, you can make it special news or sports or anything. It could be your channel name, anything. So next thing I'm going to do is to create a button, and I'm going to give this button a class of video section title close btn. Yeah, I know the class name is very long, but you can use whatever class name you like. Now next thing we're going to do is to try to add that cross, that X. So you can simply do that by using a HTML trick, and that's by typing in add times. Yeah, so when you type this, this is a neat HTML trick. So when you go back to the original project, you should see something. You should see this button with the X. So now we're going to position this properly. So head over to your CSS. Okay, so scroll down. Scroll down, and we're going to grab the class. This class right here, YouTube video section title. I'm going to grab the class and I'm going to paste right here. Okay, so now I'm going to use grid for this. So say grid column 1 and -1. Now we're going to set the margin of this. So say margin -0.5 rem top and bottom and 0 rem. So we're actually pushing this. So now the next thing we're going to do is to set this to flex. So say display flex and justify contents, and we actually want space between the contents. So say justify content space between, and we're going to align the items to the center, and we're going to add some padding to this also, just a little padding. Now the next thing we're going to work on is the close button. So copy this long class and we're going to paste right here, and we're going to set the border of this to none, and the background color of this also be none. The padding, we're going to get rid of the padding, set this to 0, and the color of this should be #555, and the cursor should be pointer, so we're adding the pointer effect. Okay, so you can see this right here, so it's looking really nice. So now we are almost done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to change the background color of this video section, the whole video section. From here we're going to change the background color of this. So go back to your HTML and scroll to the very top. I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to copy this class. Okay, so scroll up. I'm going to scroll up here, right here. Okay, and I'm going to set the background color of this to white smoke. So that's F9. So save this. and go back to your browser. I'm just going to close the original project. Okay, so there should be like, okay, yeah, so you can see the difference between this section and this section here. So this is a bit dark and this is more white. So this section right here is like white smoke. And yeah, so that's the build. I think I should increase the font. Should I increase the font size of this button or should I just leave it? I think I should increase the font size of this. So I'm going to scroll down here and increase the font size of this. So say font size, and I'm going to set this to 2 rem. So save this and head over to your browser. Okay, yeah, so now this project is done. We're done with the project. This was a really nice build. I hope you had fun building this project. Now if you would like to be the winner of the giveaway, make sure you drop a like on every single video. Make sure you comment down and get your friends to support you by commenting your name or whatever you have in the comment section. So make sure your friends comment whatever you have in the comment section. So get your friends to subscribe, like this video, share the video with everyone. I want 100 likes on this video alone. Yeah, if I can get 100 likes on this video, I'm going to release the Hulu clone tutorial. So you can see how interesting this YouTube tutorial was. Just imagine how cool Hulu clone would be, guys. So just imagine how cool that would be. So if you did enjoy this tutorial, make sure you smash the like button and let me know in the comment section. And for this tutorial, we are definitely going to need some of the icons. So just click the link in the description, the GitHub link, and you'll be directed to my GitHub repository where you can download all these files. Okay, so you can download all the images you would need, and you can also get the source code. So yeah, that would be all for this tutorial. If you would like me to host this project, that won't be a problem. Yeah, I should have hosted it. Yeah, the link is also going to be in the description below. Just check the description, read through the description for all the links you need. Yeah, that'll be all for this tutorial, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.